in the past years that these conversations that we've been having as a core team, it just nourishes our soul and nourishes our being. And it's always so fun to hear how, not just fun, but see how each of us is living our spirituality. And when we share, we grow. So we wanted to spread the word and have other people join in these conversations.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm Alia Mohyuddin. As Colette said, I'm in Karachi, Pakistan at the moment. So it is very much a multicultural group here from all parts of the world. And in fact, there are a lot of other people who are part of the core team who may not be present immediately, but will be also having holding their Facebook Lives as well. Now, just a bit of housekeeping, so to speak. This is going to be, the intention is this will eventually be streamed live on NLP 4th Generation, their Facebook page. At the moment, because this is our very first one, it's actually being streamed on my Facebook page, on my Facebook, which is Alia Mohyuddin, but I think it's going to be live streamed on other pages as well. And it will also be available on NLP 4th Generation if we aren't able to live stream it. But these are a few glitches as we get going, which will all be ironed out. So yeah, it's I'm actually the newest member to the NLP 4th Generation, and it's such an exciting group of ladies and men to be a part of and have this conversation. It's interesting at this time of this transitional phase that the world is in. I mean, you know, I'm from Pakistan, both of you are in Canada. There are people from Morocco, from France, from Scandinavia, there's people from everywhere. And it's not a coincidence that we're searching. There is, I think we were talking earlier and saying that, you know, people are waking up. And it's literally, sometimes it feels to me like we're sort of awakening from a deep slumber that we've been in for a while. And just letting people on as we speak. And it's, yeah, I mean, I'd love you to share, Lynn, what were your thoughts on, you know, this sense of living spiritually and what that means to you?
Well, I think that, again, I just feel, as you said, at this time on the planet, we need to be really conscious. And it's not enough to have the intention of living a spiritual life, or it's not enough to want to be kind and loving. We need to do it and be it. And so, again, I really feel that we need skills, which is why I honestly, for the past 25 years, I have been teaching NLP, and I've always done it. I've seen it always as this vehicle for kind of clearing out the junk and just allowing a higher vibration to come in, because I just think it's so important. And I think with us doing this, I'm really grateful we're doing this. As you said, Colette, it's like we have these amazing conversations, and now, you know, we've decided to share it. But I do think it's important for us to know there are a lot of beautiful, beautiful people in the world that are doing lovely things, and they're kind and loving. And sadly, we hear mostly about the negativity. And I think it's important so that we know that we have a collective, we have a community. And I think it's really important that we recognize that. I mean, again, as you said, we're so excited when we have these conversations because we believe in similar things, and we do have a vehicle to be able to change things and be that good person. So whether I'm doing a training, it doesn't matter if it's corporate, it doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter what it is. Honestly, the purpose is to help people be kind and considerate and respectful of each other. But it's not that easy to always do that. So hence, we do need tools and ways to actually do it, because I think a lot of people, they meditate. At this point, there are many people obviously aware of meditation and how good it is for the mind, body, and spirit. The challenge, though, is that many people use it as an escape to go out there and feel good. So my challenge to everyone is to bring it back down and feel good down here. So that's kind of the overall picture for
bring
me.
it into ourselves. Absolutely, absolutely. And Colette, in terms of living spiritually, on an everyday basis, and following on from what Lynn was saying as well, and how to sort of awaken that identity within ourselves, of that, because at the end of the day, we're not human beings having spiritual experiences. We are actually spiritual beings having human experiences. We are all here at this moment, in this life, on this planet, in the various sort of spots on the planet that we are, and we still find each other. It is actually quite mind-boggling.
And I think that's what's been nourishing me or help supporting me, is that connection, is keeping that connection alive, not just the connection to source or to our source, but keeping the connection to the collective. And I know I've had some challenges this season where I really wanted to disconnect from everything and everyone, just to come back into my bubble and into my being. Like you were saying, Lynn, it's sometimes an escape to disconnect. But then when we come back out of that bubble and we reconnect with the people, we notice how together we can hold on. What's coming to me right now is, I don't know if you guys all know the coach state. What is the coach state? It's something that was developed by Robert Dilts. And in the coach state, there is the first part where we center, we open, we become alert, we connect, and then we hold. And what came to me this morning was that life is calling us right now to hold, but to hold something that we are not used to. In the coach state, we want to hold our emotions or hold what is present, hold the situation. But life is calling us right now, this is my belief, life is calling us to hold our spiritual dimension and our human dimension and bringing them together now. And for me, that's like an awakening. How can we unite those poles? It's easy to go up just in the spiritual and, oh wow, it feels so great and I'm connected to everybody, but bring it in, bring it on, bring it here in the now, in the being. What are we going to do with this? How can we live spiritually? How can we awaken that spiritual intelligence within us and do concrete things? So this is just a small gesture of how we can do concrete things with our living spirituality, is sharing each of our experiences and what is helping us at this time. I think we talk about this, Lynn, often, that NLP has given us such an amazing toolkit that has really been that has helped us in this period. All these little tools that we have, but we can share them to the world and help others with it too. So, yeah. For me, is learning to hold our spiritual dimension, awaken that spiritual dimension, connect to our soul, connect to the love, and bring it on in the human dimension. That's what life is calling. That's my perspective.
I love it.
I really love that. And it's I love what you said about our source. And here's the thing: it was never meant to be homogeneous. It was never meant to be the one source or the one concept. And we can all have a sense of what it means for us, and it's our truth. And and I think, and part of what NLP fourth generation is really looking at is to expand into developing that sort of those higher sort of practices that enable all of us in our own ways to connect into our source, into our truth, into our meaning. And then how do we create those ripples where we can impact in an ecological way, and in a way that actually has a meaningful impact on the earth, on human beings, on the planet, on the universe. And God knows we need it right now. And so having that sort of space to explore our own truth, and yet know that we're all connected in the versions of our truth, because it does go up into a higher purpose that we all actually have.
And I think also there's just no separation, and we're finding this more and more, between body, mind, and spirit. There's, it's our soul essence really that wants to express itself here, no matter what it is that we do. It's an expression of who we are at the core. And when we can really connect to who we are at the core, then really magic happens and relationships flourish and life is good. And let's face it, right now we're all experiencing challenges. We've talked amongst ourselves. Every one of us have had personal challenges through these times. And it's really what we have at the core that allows us to get back, you know, get back into center. It's not because things don't happen, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that body, mind, and soul, when we really align that and at least do our best to look for that alignment, then I think it makes a huge, huge difference in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, when I've seen this personally for myself, absolutely. But I see this in my coaching as well, in terms of a lot of my clients. When they connect into, you know, and often I use the Robert Dilts's neurological level alignment technique. When they connect, you know, people can be flaying in all directions. And when they connect back into that truth, that higher truth, that sense of why am I walking this earth? What are the ripples I want to leave behind? What are the ripples I want to create? There's a silence that comes in. There's so much noise that gets filtered out. There's a clarity and a direction that we suddenly are able to connect into. And no matter how hard things become, no matter how challenging or scary or unfamiliar they become, or how much even I think things are out of our control, our ability to continue on our due north is much more possible, much more doable.
I don't remember who said this, but they said, in the silence, may you hear the whispers of God. So whether you name it God or source or life or nature, whatever is your source, in those moments you say silence, we hear what is most important to us, what is most essential. And I think these times are calling to what is most essential in our life. We don't have the ability to go out. I don't know how it is in Pakistan or in Vancouver, but here it's still shut down and we have to isolate and with the pandemic. So you do a lot of soul searching. What is the meaning of this? And give it meaning. How can we give it meaning? This moment is an opportunity, actually, to reconnect to what is most essential. And that reminds me of another phrase where they say the journey is the destination. So this journey of coming back to what is most essential is what is the calling now.
Yeah. I agree. I think in a way that this pandemic has also created a time for us to, I mean, go inside, but quite literally go inside as well, figuratively and literally. And for me, the noise has gone down. It is that, why am I here? What's my purpose? How am I going to move forward? And it's actually interesting. I found that the feedback that I've gotten is that most people who've done our NLP trainings and done NLP and have NLP experience have actually been able to navigate and self-manage themselves through the pandemic much more effectively than a lot of people who may not have. I'm sure there are many who also haven't done NLP also have that. But it's been wonderful to see how much the tools of NLP have actually helped people. And for me, what I really love about this series that we're starting, these generative conversations, is really about, what you focus on is what you get, which is one of the NLP precepts. And as Lynn was saying, the world is so focused on bad news. We're addicted to it. It sells newspapers. It sells commercial infotainment on the news channels and whatever. And we just start then creating more and more of that kind of environment, that energy, that dynamic. And I think part of all of us coming together and starting these conversations, and hopefully these conversations are going to be in multiple languages, is actually changing that dynamic a little bit, even if it's a small little drop in the ocean that we all create. It's let's focus on something we actually want to create. Let's create more of that energy. Let's create more of that sort of sea change and wave and ability for that sort of to generate more, rather than all of the other negative sort of stuff that we are we see more of, unfortunately, at this moment.
I'm curious, Alia, do you have a practice that you do that helps you to get into that space, that silence?
It does. Well, I mean, mine is a very, very personal one that I do. And it is about, I actually visualize myself grounding myself into the core of the earth. Mm-hmm. So it's, for me, what I do is I visualize that there is a strong rod or a rope that goes down my back, down into the ground, into the core of the earth, and it establishes me very much grounded to this earth wherever I am in this moment, nice and solid in where I am. And then I allow for my higher light to open up. So I allow the light to go out of me, connect into the universe, and come back to me. That's sort of, in a way, in a sort of basic sense, what I do. In terms of my higher truth, is something that I always tell my children, is that sense of, I believe when we talk about heaven and hell and just a spiritual sort of identity, mine has very much been that the way we live our lives on a daily basis creates energy, a certain type of energy. And through physics, we know that energy never dies. It is just transferred into a different state. Mm. And so if we create a certain amount of positive energy, when our bodies are no longer alive, that energy for me gets transferred into the beautiful rainbows and the wonderful weather and the star and the flowers that bloom and the wonderful summer air or the winter snowflakes. And the negative energy goes into storms and the hurricanes and things that devastate the earth, and the pandemic for that matter. And so for me, I've always lived like that. It's something I've always taught my kids, that we create the rainbows, create the, help create the flowers that bloom in spring, and, the wonderful sunshine, and emit that energy so there's more of it. For me, that's my truth. I am, and I need to be a little bit careful, I don't want to offend people, but I'm not somebody who is religious, but I do consider myself highly spiritual. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's how my truth makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I really encourage people is that they doesn't have to be the one truth. My truth is my truth. Mm-hmm. And but it is about finding what your truth is, what it means for you. Because when you align to something that makes sense, that resonates, that spurs your soul, the world becomes your oyster. Mm-hmm. You can just go anywhere, do anything, I feel. So my true north, I feel very connected to at all times. So, yeah.
It's beautiful.
How about you, Lynn?
Well, I think I do a lot of different things, but mainly for me, it's about bringing in the energy, bringing in the light, and I always imagine it as love, light, and healing, and just filling my body, because as you said, in terms of energy, if we really believe in energy, then it's about who I am inside, what's going on in here, because again, scientifically we know our thoughts create chemicals that run through our body, and this is what we project out into the world. And again, at one point we thought that was just kind of an airy-fairy idea, but the good news is now we know it's scientifically proven. So for me, especially with all the crazy, well, in my view, crazy things that are happening, I feel that the one thing that I can do for me and to make a difference, I'm not a fighter, I'm not somebody who's going to get out there and hold a placard, or the only thing I can do is to be kind and loving and really feel that love inside of me so that it can go out into the world, because whatever's inside does go out, whether we like it or not. And I'm not sure how it is for you, but walking sometimes now, well, you said you're isolated. We're semi-isolated, but we can still go out. But there's an energy sometimes where it's just, honestly, it's a challenge for me to be out in the energy because people aren't happy. They're not smiling. They're in so much fear, and that emanates from them. So I think the only thing I can honestly do is to just hold that love inside of me and believe that that is going to make a difference. And again, scientifically, it has been proven in terms of groups of meditation where the crime went down in DC as an example. So it's the practical side of it, but sometimes it's the only thing that I feel I can hold on to. And I do believe that this, as you said, Colette, this is a time of introspection. And so we can either go inside and be upset and angry and furious about everything that's going on, or we can go inside and figure out, okay, what's going on for me? What is it I need to heal? Because I think that the world around us, I think it's like our report card. I think it's what shows us, it's our playing field, and it shows us what needs to be healed personally inside of me. So the world is one thing, but what do I need to do inside of me to bring the best of me forward if I want to live a spiritual life, as we've said? And I agree, Alia, for me, I don't consider myself religious, but I do want to live a spiritual life, which to me is about love and kindness and respect and all those beautiful things that we can share with other people. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, beautiful.
I just want to say, Lynn, when you're talking about sharing your love and kindness when you go into the world, yesterday I just saw a pop-up on, I don't remember which social media it was, but it was a clip of a company, I think somewhere in Scandinavia, and they don't let people come into the store unless they have a smile.
Oh, wow.
So it's all an automatic thing. If you come with a frown or you're concentrated or something, the door won't open. And then there's a sign that says, just smile. And then when you smile, the doors open. And
I love it.
I said, that's a concrete way to bring more joy into this world. And I said, wow, isn't that amazing? I'd love all the places to be like that because, yeah, what we see around is not always joyful, but it's a little way. And it reminds me of our first NLP 4th generation retreat that we did in Bali, where we started the work on 4th generation, and the leaders that we modeled talked about the smile, how smiling makes a difference. What can bring a smile to our face? And that smile can be contagious and help others in these struggling times. So yeah, a just little pop-up of how we can make a difference with little things. So I love this company. I want it to move to Quebec.
Yeah.
It's such a great, simple idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, also you reminded me about, you know, in terms of smiling, it's sometimes whatever's going on around us doesn't have us wanting to smile. But if we, and again, this is kind of a little NLP tool in my view, is all I have to do for me personally is I just have to get a picture in my mind of my grandchildren, and then voila, the smile is there. I can't not. So if we each can just have some little thing stored ahead of time that we know when we think of it, it just warms our heart and brings a smile to our face, then I think, again, that's a little thing that we can do, because we're all going to have moments that aren't the most wonderful. And you can't, if you don't have it ahead of time, you may not find it when you're feeling down. So it's planning it ahead of time. So literally, when I think of them, I mean, I can't not smile. So that's always there. If I need to call on something, then it's there. So maybe people can kind of find one of those things as well and tuck it away so that it's always with them. And whenever they need to feel good, they just bring up that picture in their mind, and it completely will change the way they feel.
Absolutely. It can be also maybe a song. I love Happy. This weekend we had a train.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We're happy and we're all there dancing, and then we go back to coaching our clients.
Yeah.
Changing the energy. How can we change the energy field? It's these little things.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think it makes a big difference. I was just thinking, so we are going to be doing this on a regular basis, generally 30 minutes, 45 minutes, however long the conversation goes. People are welcome to join us on Zoom. People are welcome to join us on Facebook Live. Now there's some things we need to iron out. How do we get it onto the NLP Fourth Generation page? Maybe all of those things will be ironed out, and that's all part of just moving forward and just connecting into the higher purpose of why we're doing this rather than the technical details. All that will be ironed out. And so we encourage people to also share their own thoughts, come and share their own experiences or their own wisdom with us, because that's all part of that generative expansion of from my understanding of it, Colette, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that sense of that generative expansion of what it means to connect into our spiritual essence, into our spiritual truth, what is out there that we want to connect to, and we'd love you to connect with us as well. So in terms of people who may have questions or comments or want to share, very open to that. It'll be wonderful to sort of have that dynamic essence to the conversations as they evolve and grow and expand. Colette, I was just wondering, do you want to maybe finish off with, I thought we could, maybe finish it off with some sort of exercise.
Well, yeah, sure. Something that's been helping me. When I said I needed to disconnect, I needed to come back to the love within me and love myself. We can't hug anybody else. So how can we hug ourselves in these times? And so I've been doing a lot of meditation on love and light and just awakening that within my being. So I would just like to guide the ones who are with us and those who will be listening to come back into the love. So I invite everybody, just make sure you're comfortable and come back to the breath. Breath is life. And when you can breathe consciously, you can start to recognize, what do you want to breathe in? And I love to breathe in love. And what do I want to breathe out? What is something that needs to evacuate from my system, whether it be fear or stress or anxiety or sadness or solitude? What do I want to breathe out? And what do I want to breathe in? And I've been practicing this with love and light. So just imagining if love was a color, if love was an odor, what would it be? What would I be breathing in? And that just sets into my being. And where is that space within me where I hold that love? I like to imagine in my heart. So when I'm breathing, I'm filling my heart with love and just letting go of everything else that is a distraction from what is most important at this time. And when I do this for many, many minutes, at one point, there's like nothing else to evacuate but love. So as I'm breathing in love, I'm also breathing out love. And that's when I can start sharing it. We all share the same air in one sense. So this is spreading and filling. I can imagine it filling the whole community, the whole city, the whole country, the whole world. So I do this practice as much as I can. And it's cleansing and liberating and fueling, coming back to that love. It's one of the presuppositions of fourth generation, that love heals, love unites, love grows. So I've been holding on to that presupposition and making it a daily practice to breathe in the love and So sending all you guys out there, whoosh, lots of love, lots of love.
Thank you.
Mm.
That was beautiful. And look forward to connecting again and encouraging people who are watching this, who will be watching this. We're going to be sharing this on the NLP Fourth Generation page. We're going to be sharing it on all our news feeds. Encourage you all to come in and connect with us and connect, share your wisdom with us and let us share ours with you. I think we all want to, I don't know if I'm talking out of turn here, Colette, please sort of correct me if I am, but we're also we're all creating and ourselves, so to speak, in terms of finding, our own sense of our truth and modeling excellence in this space and creating new models that we can bring into what NLP Fourth Generation is going to be about, and collaborating with people who are out there and hearing other people's wisdom just enhances and expands that, and enlarges this, generates more in this conversation.
When we started this movement for Generation, the idea was to model spiritual leaders. And we did our first experience in Bali where we did model spiritual leaders. And we want to extract, like NLP, everybody knows that NLP models excellence and then creates protocols so that other people can achieve that same excellence. But this was all oriented in connecting to source and living, awakening our spiritual intelligence within. But one thing we noticed through this experience is that we are all leaders. And the leaders are here, are in the collective. We don't need to be modeling the Dalai Lama, with all my respect. He's a great spiritual leader. But we can also model you, Alia, you, Lynn, and all the others that are out there. So we just talk and share and why look for all these others that are there? It's all here. So that's what the conversation is all about, is getting to know other people. And I know there's some people on the call. I don't know if they have questions for us before we go, if there's something that we can answer or.
Yeah, there's, at the moment, I'm just looking at the chat. There isn't anything on the chat as yet. I think as this develops and people become more familiar with it, there will be a lot more add-ons. People will be sharing more, and so we look forward to connecting with people, with everyone who's watching, and your wisdom, and look forward to sharing from you, as I hope you share from us, and let it be a global collective where we can all come together in our respective truths, and that all connect into the one truth.
And next week, there's going to be an amazing generative conversation between Lynn and the mother, we call her the mother of NLP, Judith Delosier, who's going to come with us and talk about what is it about living spiritually? What are their practices, her practices? And so we look forward to having her. And we're also going to have, that's on the 15th with Lynn. And then I'll be there on the 22nd of December with Robert Dilts, which is, I call him my father of the NLP, humanistic NLP. And we'll be talking about actually a book that we've written, co-written on Fourth Generation that will be coming in the new year sometime. So we will also be happy to have more people join the conversation and ask questions to Robert, to Judith. They'll be there to serve and share their own path and journey and experience.
Yeah.
Yes, so I hope people can join us next week, because I'm very excited personally to talk to Judith. So she's an amazing human being, and yes, I'm really looking forward to it. So hopefully people can join us as well.
Yeah. And it's going to always be at the same time, same day, largely. If there's any tweaks, we'll...
Actually, it will be a bit later the next time, because Judy and Robert will be in the USA, in California. So we had to make it 3 hours later. So I think in Pakistan, it'll be what, midnight?
Midnight.
Well,
yeah, so
if you come and join us, you'll have sweet dreams after.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. And looking forward to it. I'm very, very excited to listen to those conversations. They'll be absolutely amazing. And, and so love and light to all of us and to everybody listening and everybody who will, and, connecting into our own, we all have excellence within us and our own truth, and encourage everybody who's listening to connect into theirs or find theirs if they're not sure what it is. It's a difference that makes a difference. And I think it just changes the landscape and the choices we make, what we do, when we make the effort to spend time to connect into ourselves and a higher truth. And so I thank you very much. Thank you for a lovely conversation, Lynn and Colette, and excited for this to be the start of a new beginning and new things to come. And, you sort of set an intention and just let it, set a seed and let it just bloom and the flowers to grow.
So we're setting a seed of conversations, and we'd love to have cells that develop around the world, and then those cells will come and join the larger collective and share. So this is in our vision. We can talk about it at another time.
And we'll continue to talk about it. We'll continue to share, and we continue to evolve and grow, because it's an organic being. And the more knowledge and the more wisdom and the diversity we get in just adds so much more color and wealth and wisdom to it. So, and Colette, I congratulate, I celebrate you, not just congratulate, I celebrate you in starting this movement, in having that, in that seed of planting the seed, and there's so much that can grow from it, and so many places it can go. And it's very, very exciting.
For me, NLP has always been like a universal language that everyone around the world understands. And for me, I want to see it grow and have us use that language and to heal ourselves so that we can even be a better collective and help the world in this period that we're going through. So.
Because there's just so many beautiful souls out there that we have to connect together. Yes. And hopefully this will be one of the ways that we can do that, because it can be kind of lonely if you don't connect to, these beautiful people like we've done. I mean, I'm so grateful. So yes, let's bring on more and more people into this collective.
Bring it on. So in the spring, we want to also have generative conversations, like not just us three, but we want to really have the collective come and join. So if you're interested to be part of the conversation and you have something to share, you have an experience to share, drop us a line, write to info@NLP4Generation, and we'll be happy to have you on and hear your story that can also support the system at this time. So info@4generation.com. Just
we'll add that in the comments as well for people to be able to access that.
Great.
So thank you, ladies. It was lovely to have a conversation with you. So excited to kickstart this exciting idea. I'm really, really grateful and really grateful to be a part of something like this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing and excited to see how it grows, what it grows into, what it evolves, how it continues to evolve. It'll be wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you for getting us together with this and being our host today.
My pleasure.
Love you guys. Take care, everyone. Till next time.
Yes, absolutely. All right then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.